We are going to get right into it. So you can part your hair into 3 places to make it easier for you. Wherever you're used to braiding, you just don't even think about it, you just do it. As you can see, just like that, you can part it. This is just to show you guys, the detail and all. And then you can do that like twice or one time, all depends on what your client wants or what you think is better for you. And then we are going to take the prepped hair. We're going to attach that in between. As you can see, I attached it in between my pointer finger and my thumb. And then every time you insert something, you braid enough for you to bring your hand back, your fingers back to that position. And that's that. So if you want the braids to be thicker or bigger, of course you have to keep inserting, and then you start small and you start medium or big for different type of braids. Another example, so same thing, you can part the hair. As you can see, it doesn't have to be clean because it's gonna all come together when you start braiding. And you do the same thing. Like I said, you can do it twice or once. Sometimes I catch myself doing it once, sometimes I catch myself doing it twice, but you cannot really tell which one was done once or twice. Again, you insert the tiny bits of braids into your thumb and your pointer finger, and yeah, just like that. And then every time you do that, you braid enough for your fingers to come back to that position to grab the braids. Boom, just like that. So exactly. So it's always recommended for you to get the prepper, and I'm going to give the link to the prepper that I use for my braids. For those that already have it, you guys know what I'm talking about. But this makes knotless braids very, very smooth and faster. And another example of the same thing that we're gonna do. So I think I'm just gonna get into it for this one. Yep, just like that. Sometimes it just takes practice. I mean, it takes practice for everything. So just do that and then insert the braids, and then you braid again. And then you insert another one again in between the thumb and the pointer fingers. People have different ways of doing this braids, but honestly, do whatever works for you. Do what's best for you. Like when I use the different techniques for my clients' hair, it doesn't really make a difference about the outcome. The only thing that might make a difference is if you start, your braids thick, like the extension that you are adding to your hair, if you start it thick, and then of course there might be a little bit of a more natural looking and like more just kind of too big, almost similar to the knot. Just almost similar, not even almost similar, just it doesn't have that flexibility, because the whole point of starting small is just so it can look natural, just so it can look like it's growing from your roots and it's all blended. So when you start thick, you can only imagine the looks, and sometimes it just takes for you to see it, for you to actually understand it. And someday or some point, I am going to be just give you an example of how, when you start your braid thick, and how it can actually make your braid look a certain way and less flexible. Because the whole point to me about knotless is just for flexibility, being able to put it up in a ponytail, tension free. And this actually lasts for months. My clients have had it for 2 months. My client, they have knotless, and not every time, whenever they get the knot, they very, very, very come back and get. So whenever they get the knotless, they very come back to get the knot, because you just love the knotless, that even though it's expensive, it's just worth the price. It's worth everything, the flexibility, the softness, everything. So yeah, and that's that for that one. And I think we're going to be having another sample. I'm sorry guys, this is actually my first video and my first voiceover, so I know I will have to go back and like look at certain stuff and see what I can do to make the sound better, to make the clarity better, just to make everything better. But bear with me, I just felt the need to put out this video, and I'm going to be putting out more, but I am going to get better with time in terms of what I put out there, and just detail, because I am doing this all by myself alone, and I'm just learning by myself. So bear with me, and of course subscribe, like, share, and I expect more videos from me from now on. So I do use that comb to part the hair, and sometimes I use the African comb that I am going to also post a picture of it, or have a link from where I actually got the comb, the African one. But this one, the yellow one, you can find it at any beauty supply store. I am telling you, anyone, it doesn't matter, anyone, you can find it there, hopefully. But the other one, you cannot really find it anywhere. I actually had to get it from Amazon, and it was really expensive. It was kind of pricey. It was $2 for $14, I think, or $2 for $11 something, $11. I'm not really sure, but I know it wasn't cheap. Again, we are doing the same thing, same routine. You part the hair, do this, do that. And this one might be a little bit clearer. And then you insert it in between the thumb and the pointer finger, and you braid in and out, and then you insert again the pointer finger and the thumb, and then you braid just like a feed-in braid. You actually just feed in the roots, and you do the same thing again the third time. Now what I was talking about was that if you wanted to make it thicker, then you keep going. You add like 4 more. Like for my small, or in between the medium and small, I use three same size that you can see right now. For the regular, I still use 3, but a bigger 3, or I use 4 but small, 4 smalls, like 4 small attaching braids. I'm so sorry, I don't know if I'm making this clear for you guys. And for the medium, I have to fit the hair in about 5 times, and sometimes 6, or depends on my prepping and everything. And at some point, again, I will be talking about prepping. Again, like as I said, do what's best for you. Sometimes what you consider to be small might be medium to your clients, and what you consider to be medium might be small to your clients. So just make sure when you're trying to book, you have the pictures of what you do, just so when they're booking, they know what you're talking about. I think this might be a little bit clearer also with edge control. I also will be talking having a link of the edge control that I actually use. Again, I'm new to this stuff, so if I don't have a link to certain stuff, trust me, I'm going to be right back, and I'm going to have that for you guys. Again, so you act like you're trying to braid your hair, and you do that. The pointer and the thumb are basically doing all the work, or most of the work, most of the job. And then you insert it in between your thumb and your pointer, and then you braid, and then you pick another one, and then you slide it in. Sorry, you yeah, you do that, and then you braid, and another one, and then you braid. As you can see, just in between. Again, so as I was saying, when I mentioned at first that you braid the natural, your client's hair, like in your natural hair, you braid it once. You kind of braid it once or twice before you start inserting braids. I do it twice for most of my clients. They have longer hair. I do it twice for them because I don't know, it just, whatever comes to my mind, I do that. That's the finished product, guys. Yeah.